It's Ford Truck Month. America, you know what to do. Now's the time to get after the best deals on Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks, 45 years straight. Also, great offers on Ford Ranger and the new Ford Maverick. Ford Truck Month is here, so let's get after it. Get 0 for 60 plus up to $1,000 bonus cash plus a no-charge 3-year Ford Protect Premium Maintenance Plan on F-150.
Good morning and welcome to Today in L.A. My name is Mike Amos. His name is Bill Rice Jr. as we start a Monday, the last Monday in the month of May.
Nope.
Or April, excuse me.
That's right.
But we're ready to get going this morning. And Rice, you have a good weekend?
Oh, yeah, it was real fun. Went to Troy Fest and went to the T-Day game festivities and went to church and went to Red Schoolhouse Restaurant for Sunday dinner where I saw you.
Yeah, was that good food or not?
Yes, it's always good food. Too much. I get home and I got to immediately take a nap.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I hope everybody had a good weekend. And, you know, if you didn't, you weren't looking many places because there was activity galore going on.
No, I didn't mention everything. We had softball games.
Yeah. Of course, we had the lunch with the legends was there.
Yeah.
You know, Chan Gailey and
that was first class
Larry
event,
Blakeney.
wasn't it?
That's right. There they are, Larry Blakeney and the great Bear Woods.
Yeah.
And,
the name of Freddie Thomas.
Freddie Thomas, the All-American, and then finally the another All-American in
Jarrell
Jernigan. So
and then coach, you left off the coach of the Dallas Cowboys and the Troy Trojans.
I thought I mentioned Chan Gailey. Is that right?
That's right. He was my grandmother's neighbor, and
Did you get to talk to him any?
No, Bobby went to the. My brother Bobby went to this event, and he talked to Coach Gailey, and he said, "I don't know if you remember my grandmother." And she lived across the street from me, and he said, "Oh, of course I remember Miss Rice." He said, "I cut her grass several times."
Did he say that? Yeah, and of course he.
And I mean, so he was cutting my grandmother's grass.
Exactly. And of course,
the head football coach at Troy University.
He's got 2 boys, and they're all grown up now, and they all live in Habersham, Georgia. And I think 2 of them are still coaching, and Chan looks on and plays a lot of golf, and just happy as he can be.
Well, he deserves a little rest after as hard as he's worked for 50 years as a football coach.
That's right, and of course he was sharp as a tack, and everybody was so glad to see him, and he seemed like he was glad to be here too, you know, and we were glad to.
Well, you know, he was in Troy. Bobby said he talked about this. You know, he was an assistant for Coach Bradshaw for about 3 years. And then he was the head coach of 2 great teams. So that's 5 years he was in Troy.
That's right.
And those are your early years when you're just starting your career. So those are vivid, important years in anybody's life.
Of course, if you haven't already received it, it is out there and very well done. Troy Life, and this is another great product of the Troy Messenger, and of course, big Bob Rice, and saw a lot of Bobby. He was out about all over the football field this weekend. But this is the latest publication of the Troy Life, and it's got a lot of information in it. It got all of Troy's staff, coaching staff, every one of them are listed in here with a picture of their family. And I think if you see one, you ought to jump and grab one, and you'll be able to get one at the Messenger itself.
That's a great photo on the front cover.
Yes, and of course Coach
Summerall
and
his lovely family.
Yes, that's right. And pick one up at the Messenger today if you didn't receive one already in the mail. It's a very good publication, very well done by the Messenger.
Let's look at that. Let's see, they've got 3 little girls and 1 little boy.
That's right.
All right.
And they're full of life.
Yeah.
Just like your little boy Jackson was full of life this weekend.
Well, they had one neat thing. They're doing all the great marketing touches, which they always do.
Yeah.
That's our athletic director. Must have a great mind for marketing. They had a football camp for 5 to 12-year-olds before the T-Day game, and Jack Rice, who's 6, went out there and participated.
Yeah,
and there were a lot of kids out there, Mike.
Well over 100 kids.
Yeah, easily well over, I'd say 200. And
Yeah.
all the players were out there just like they said they would be, and I don't know how they were going to organize that so quickly, but they did a pretty good job. They had different stations, and kids had a blast.
I tell you, quite a day, and I know a lot of parents were up there just tickled pink to watch their kids perform in front of a large T-Day crowd, and of course there were also a lot of good vendors, and people were. And how about this? Did you make it to the rummage sale?
Well, there were too many people at the rummage sale, and I had enough of long lines at Disney World a couple of weeks ago, and there was a line that went down to the end zone, people waiting to get in the rummage sale, and so
That's
I
right.
passed.
Yeah, well, it went on and most from 3 o'clock on, and a lot of people bought a lot of the old Troy paraphernalia, and a lot of it was like new.
Yeah.
I bought several hats
Good.
for that are really, really nice, and for $10 a piece, when normally they cost $24 a piece. So I thought it was a pretty good deal.
Jerseys, T-shirts.
Yeah, exactly right. And but it was a good way for them to get rid of a lot of their stuff, and they made a little money too. Yeah.
And it brought people out, because I mean there were
That's right.
There were hundreds of people. Now I know it thinned
made me
out.
feel good
It thinned out. They just had a long line right before they opened.
And it made me feel good that so many people wanted our paraphernalia, or our what we don't want, they want. I like that.
I wanted a Willie Tullis jersey from 1980.
Yeah. What number was he? Number 7. Yeah. It was out there, and there was a lot of jerseys out there to pick from. So hopefully a lot of you got.
You wanted the number 1 jersey from 1984 of Mike Turk.
Yeah, that would have been a great one. You're right, and everything. But I didn't get one. I know this. I got all those hats, those good-looking hats, and you're gonna see a lot of people wearing those hats before long. Of course, Talladega was run this weekend. It amazes me about Talladega. Over 150,000 people go to that event every year. I had no idea it was Talladega. Did you?
They don't promote it like they used to. AL.com is about sorry, our number 1 internet site. Used to be the Birmingham News. I was looking for, before I came in, I wanted to find some info on the USFL. They're playing all the USFL games in Birmingham, and AL.com doesn't have jack. There's not one story. Every team in the USFL is playing every game in Birmingham, and there's not one story on the USFL.
Yeah.
Had to go to ESPN to, you know what I found? I was looking for attendance numbers. They're as bad as I thought. They had a game the other day between Philadelphia and New Orleans in Birmingham. They don't announce the attendance numbers, but they had pictures, and the story said there was about nobody there. Well, they showed a picture. You could about count them. I would say there were 150 fans in a 44,000-seat stadium.
Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
USFL game.
Morning.
Good morning, and of course,
there were 2,000, 3,000 more fans at the Troy T-Day game than there were at this USFL game.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what the actual attendance was, but it was a good crowd. Mike Amos calling in from Grayton Beach, and Coach Chan Gailey said hello, Mike.
Yeah, I saw Coach Gailey. He looked good. I hadn't seen him in a long time. I would have been interested to hear that Legends event. I guess Terrell Jernigan was there, Bear Woods was there, Coach Blayton was there, Freddie Thomas was there. Chan still looks good, though.
He really does. He looks like he could.
Coach.
Yeah, I know it.
Well, Mike, how'd they do it? Did they just all get up there and just let people ask questions of them? Or?
Well, they had it set up pretty well. But that was what it was. They talked, they interviewed each one, and then they set them down, and the people there were able to ask questions, and I thought it was very well done.
Did people ask questions?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You had a pretty good question and answer deal, and I didn't get to ask some of the questions that I was going to ask him. Chan, and we'll ask him right now. Chan, how many times out of the year do you remember the Ted Clem kicking a field goal with no time left on the clock to beat North Dakota State for the national championship? He said, "Mike, I think about it every day."
He did.
That's right. He said, "I think about it every day," and and of course.
My question to Chan Gailey would have been, if you would have stayed at Troy for 5 years, how many national championships would you have won?
I don't know.
Won 3.
That's right. But he was. I would think next year they're going to do this every year, but I think next year that Rick Rhodes would have to be on that on that group of people being interviewed, and he had a lot of success himself.
Well, that's a great Terrell Jernigan. Man, he was an electric player from Eufaula.
Yeah.
Freddie Thomas was the best defensive player in America. Bear Woods we talked about him on Friday. What a great story he is. He's the head coach at Wetumpka High School now after a great career in the Canadian Football League. And then, of course, Coach Blakeney.
Yeah, no question about it.
I was looking at pictures of Terrell Jernigan. Man, he looks like he's hitting the weight room. He looks like he weighs about 225 pounds.
I told him, I said, "You look like a lineman." He laughed, but he does. It looks great, and he coaches that.
Terrell Jernigan is a heartbreaking story. He was the starting wide receiver for the New York Giants. Had come off his best year in the pros, like his 3rd or 4th year, and suffered a knee injury and never could get back healthy again. And got cut and tried to make it with the Jacksonville Jaguars after that, but then his career was over. But he was the guy for the Giants just late in the season. And
he was quick.
He was a projected starter, and blew out his knee, and the rest is history.
Well, that's right. And that's exactly the way the pros look at it. What have you done for me now? Bum 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 bum. I hate to say that.
If you're Julio Jones, what have you done for me lately? Or who's the Dallas Cowboy wide receiver they just traded to the Cleveland Browns?
Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper.
Yeah, Amari Cooper. That's right.
What have you done for me?
In the spring, Dad, they didn't show any stats. I know Troy's quarterbacks threw 3 interceptions at least, but why was there no stats?
It was the way it was the way they did it. I didn't like that way, but
here's what I don't like, and every team does it in the spring. They let the clock run.
Yeah, that's why they did.
And, they let it run. It's 15 minutes a quarter. No stoppage for everything. The referees talk about something for 2 minutes, and there's 2 minutes of your first quarter. And so you couldn't get any
rhythm
or see the players for that much. It was over like that.
I'll tell you this. Something, the number one person that I saw was number 25. A 6'2", 240-pound tailback, and he hails from.
He's been on the roster for 3 years.
That's right.
Charles Strong from Lake Butler, Florida.
I'm pulling for that kid. Here's why. Yeah. Mike and I sometimes go eat breakfast over at Trojan Dining.
Yeah.
Which is a hidden gem in Troy. Anybody can eat over there. And a couple of years ago, he took me over there, and then Mike's never met a stranger, and who do we see? All the football players in there getting breakfast, and there's this one kid that looks like a Greek god, and Mike introduces himself, and we find out that he is the transfer from Texas A&M, and he's real nice, personable, so I say, I want to keep up with this kid. Well, he hardly played the first couple of years. It was surprising to me. He had a couple of good games. And so I'm actually surprised he stuck it out and hadn't transferred again. but he hasn't, and now he is really making waves, and he's played on the special teams, but this year should get a lot of carries. Finally.
But
the star defense player was Craig Slocum, who's been at Troy for several years. Had 2 interceptions. Looks like Kyle Cole kicked a 48-yard field goal. He's been the backup punter kickoff guy.
Hey, our guy from
Quade Hawkins threw a 3-yard touchdown pass to Peyton Higgins. He's the kid out of
he looked good.
Mars Hill.
Yeah, he did. Number 12 looked good.
Number 12 has got a gun for an arm.
And then the kid out of Blunt had a good game. Jarius Williams out of Blunt High School, Mobile, had a 15-yard run and a 33-yard run and a 2-yard touchdown.
You know what? I counted 5 legitimate running backs. You know, I'm worried this, and I hate to even mention this word, but they're going to be all over the portal. They're going to at least be. I would think so. Wouldn't you, if you were the 5th man or the 4th man?
Well, I mean, some of them are going to graduate, and waste your turn. You'll get your chance.
Not a good sign right now, though. It looks like there's 4 interceptions I'm reading in this spring game. That's a lot of interceptions.
Yeah.
Now, I want to tell you, I watched both quarterbacks. You know, I didn't know Gunner's number was 18. And watching the warm-ups, I said I would have sworn that number 12 was the starter because he has got a rocket. I mean, he can zoom that football.
He is a good football player. You're right.
But then they got in the game, and then it was Gunner, number 18, and they did throw some interceptions. But I want to tell you, there weren't many open spots to hit. The defense was on those guys, so it's kind of concerning, I guess, about the quarterbacks. But I think Gunner said in the post-game quotes that, you know, we're throwing against one of the better defenses that we're going to see out there. Yeah. So the defense looked really, really good to me.
Yeah. And, you know, the
defense was lights out last year. You know, led the country in sacks at one point last year. They kind of, struggled late in the season in a few games, but until about the night for 10th week of the season, the most points they gave up in a game was like 24.
They look good to me, and here's the weak point of Troy the last couple of years. Mike, y'all tell me if you agree. Can't run the ball consistently.
That's right.
Offensive line has gone downhill a little bit. Well, I think Coach Summerall was working on that. Yeah. He was doing it in the spring game. He was running the ball straight at people, and it's not sexy, but you got to be able to get 3 or 4 or 5 yards a run, and if that comes around, and if you got a good defense, you're in the ball game.
Yeah. Let me, and then I've got my roster. I hope in my truck.
Let's go commercial. Let's go get it.
And we're gonna take it.
I've got a roster right in front of me.
All right. Okay. All right, Mike. Number 1. His name is.
Well, I mean, number 1 is the running back, isn't it?
Yeah, and write it down. What's his name?
Write it down.
What's his name? What's his name?
You talking about Woods?
Yeah, that's right. Okay, all right. Now, who are the other ones? Number
1 is double numbers. The starting secretary, guy in the secondary, Elijah Culp. It's number 1 cornerback, and number 1 running back is Jamonte Woods.
All right, Jamonte Woods. All right, there's that too, or how many is that?
Well, there's 2 different ones. There's duplicate numbers.
Yes, exactly. And I want to know the running back, and I want to know.
He wants to know all the other running backs.
We want to list the 5 running backs.
25, 28.
Okay, yeah. Jamonte Woods. You got the kid from. Well, he changed his number. They changed numbers since last year. You got number. Wow, how far are we going now?
Evidently, I asked the wrong question.
DK Billingsley's out of Scottsboro.
Yeah, that's right. DK Billingsley's a running back from Scottsboro. You're right.
They never play him anymore, even though he had a 1,000-yard rushing season. It's kind of crazy. He kind of got, I guess, lost his status as like a top 3, top 4 running back. Then Jarius Williams, kid out of Blunt.
And he looked really good.
21.
And he looked really good.
So you got 1, 20, 21. Then you got the kid out of Northport, Tuscaloosa County, Damian Taylor's 24.
All right. Now you got number 25 is the kid from
Number 25 is Charles Strong.
he's a transfer from Texas A&M. That's 5 there, isn't it?
And then the returning starter is Kamani Badell, number 28.
All right. That's 6 running backs.
You're right. Good point. Well made, Mike.
That is 6 running backs, and let me tell you, one of the coaches told me in a practice that I was at just a couple of weeks ago, says he feels like our running backs, listen to this, are SEC type players.
If we just had a offensive line that was a little above average, that would be.
And then of course
we'll find out quickly in the first game. We play Ole Miss, an SEC team.
That's right.
Yeah, when we need to keep the ball away from their offense, that means ball control offense running the ball.
Yeah.
Baseball team had a rough weekend. They lost 2 of 3.
I listened to them, buddy. They were all tough games too.
Yeah, lost 2 games, 4-3.
Tough.
So Troy's baseball team is now 24-14, 10-8 in conference. Lost the last game in a horrible fashion. The guy walked 4 straight guys.
I know it.
Oh my gosh, that is horrible.
You know, that kid has had a hard time making it at Troy, and he came in here with the credentials of a major leaguer. Everybody was talking about him, and he is just hasn't been able to do the job.
Who did we play?
Everybody was talking about Troy Fest was a big success.
Boy, we had a great time. We started it all Friday morning and had a great show from downtown Troy, and Rice was there, and
Max Howell
was there, and Morgan Drinkard was there, and we got it started this past Friday morning, and then it got going right on the dot for the
I was impressed.
Saturday session.
A lot of good vendors, a variety of vendors, food, painters, craftsmen, knife makers, iron artists.
And hopefully they spent some
jewelry.
money.
I spent some money. I bought some art.
And did you?
So, but you're right. That is so important to get the good vendors to keep coming back. They got to make a little money.
Yeah. And,
but there was a real good crowd, and it was real well organized, and
do you know
fantastic.
The crowd that I was extremely impressed with was Sunday's crowd. I mean, I could not find a parking place anywhere. I'm talking about they were parked all the way down the North Three Notch area, and then gosh, they were all over the courthouse, and they were all over. We were talking about parking. We were worried about the enough parking. Well, it was, and it was full.
The great softball pitcher Leanna Johnson pitched a no-hitter yesterday for Troy.
Did he really? She really? I didn't hear that. How many is that for her this year?
I don't know how many no-hitters she's thrown, but she got the win on Friday. Troy lost on Saturday, and then pitched a no-hitter yesterday for Troy against Texas Arlington. Johnson's now 18-8 on the season. Troy is now 27-15. 13-8 in the Sun Belt.
That's great. Now hear this.
That's for the interim coaches too.
A game was played at Lee Scott Academy that's located in Opelika, Alabama.
This was last week.
Yeah, this was last week. My man pitched a perfect game. How many times could you say that? That's your favorite pitcher.
He struck out 18 too.
Struck out 18 out of 19.
I think so.
Mike, that's unbelievable. That's almost unhuman.
That is.
Now we're talking about.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
This is Drew Nelson we're talking about.
Drew Nelson, the Auburn.
He was over there in his future stomping grounds.
Yeah, that's right. I hope a lot of those Auburn people
I bet they were.
Watch it.
I bet they did.
But I've always said he's got a change up that won't wait, and evidently he showed it.
Well, he's a real pitcher. You know, there are people that can throw fastballs, but that's a lot more to pitching than that.
Yeah. And out of all the schools in the Alabama independent schools, you know, they are highly respected. Lee Scott is, and you know, and it happened on Lee Scott's own baseball field.
That is amazing.
And he is a fine.
Well, a perfect game. I mean, they happen once in the big leagues. You would say once every 10 years, maybe you hear about a perfect game.
Hey, you're right, no question about it. And I say that, and I use that.
We went to the Alabama-Troy game this year in Tuscaloosa, and that Alabama pitcher had a perfect game going into the 7th inning. That's probably why we stayed.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But I'm glad to see it, and you know, they've got their playoff games coming up this week, and hopefully Pike Liberal Arts can win their 3rd or 4th baseball championship.
Well, they'll be 3rd in a row, but they with an asterisk because one year, the COVID year, they canceled the season, and they would have won a state championship that year almost certainly. So it could have been 4, but this would be 3 officially. Don't get. And you know, the year before, they lost. If memory serves, Billy Hickson might be watching. They lost in the finals in a heartbreaker fashion. So they
Billy, I know you're feeding chickens this morning, but I've got to hear from you about this perfect game. Michael just said something that I can't believe.
I think
he said he struck out 18.
I'll have to look and see. I'm trying to find information on it. I'm surprised nobody's posted.
Yeah, Pike Liberal, why don't you post information like that? Everybody in the country. I guarantee you, I'll say this, I bet there are maybe on a handful in this country that a kid pitched a perfect game that day.
I never heard perfect game. I thought no-hitter.
No,
I'll have to check and see.
No, I was heard perfect game, and if so, it's maybe a first for this area. You don't see them every day.
You're right. You don't. Even a no-hitter. You don't. A real no-hitter.
Yeah, I ought to call his daddy. He could help me.
You know, have I told the story before that I was the official scorekeeper for Charles Simpson baseball for 4 years? Nobody even looked at my books. It didn't matter at all. I don't know why Coach Hogan got me to do it, but it was fun to watch all the games. Well, one game it mattered, Mike.
Yeah.
The great Ricky Knotts is pitching, and dang if he doesn't have a no-hitter. There is a play that later in the game, and it's borderline whether it's a hit or an error.
Oh boy, they looked at you.
I didn't know. No, I was up there, and I didn't know, and I remember Ralph Black was up there with us in that game, and he maybe he was on the radio, and he said, "Yeah, that was a." He said that was a hit. You could have scored it either way. Yeah. And I sound like I'm blaming it on Ralph, but it was my call, and I said, okay, that's a hit. We didn't announce it, and then after the game, everybody said, was that a no-hitter? And we said, no, it was a one-hitter.
Oh, me.
Well, what should I have done?
Yeah,
I'm the home scorer.
Yeah,
I should have said that was an error and kept Ricky Knotts' no-hitter.
Yeah. Well, I will say this, that Ricky Knotts also, as a pitcher for Troy State College then, pitched a no-hitter.
I remember that, too.
He pitched a no-hitter against some, I can't tell you exactly.
Ricky Knotts was the Greg Maddox of
Ricky
high school baseball pitching for 3 years.
I'll tell you what, let's name some top pitchers that came through here around then. You know, of course, Ricky Knotts, great pitcher. Then we had.
Well, I'll tell you, there's a guy named Mike White that was good, and there was Ricky Knotts. Then I would say the next really great one was Mike Lott.
Well, then your buddy you went to school with, he was a great pitcher.
Well, then Sam Drake.
Sam Drake, yeah.
I was talking to Bobby and Sam Drake are best buddies, and Bobby told me that Sam was clocked at 92 miles per hour fastball his senior year in high school. He said back then people were not throwing 92 mile an hour fastballs. I mean, now it's
or did they have gauges that could show that there was a 90 mile an hour fastball? I'll tell you another one that is our accountant from two accountants from Dothan that played on very good teams that were very good pitchers. Do you know?
Blaine Stewart?
Blaine Stewart, one of them, and who's the other?
Knighton?
He was born and raised over on 2nd Avenue and was a heck of a pitcher. We've had this conversation before, and I can't remember. And boy, he was a heck of a pitcher too.
But let's see. Mike Lott could mow him down.
But Mike wasn't near the power pitcher.
No, but it was surprising though that Mike, as small as he was, could bring it.
Oh yeah, he was a good
He also
pitcher.
had a really good curveball.
Oh, there were a lot of good players, a lot of good pitchers that came.
And then you skip forward, then you got the best of them all, Brian Meadows.
Yeah, this guy is a well-known accountant in Dothan, and he pitched for Charles Henderson back in the heyday.
But we're talking about pitchers, and Nelson's one of them.
Yeah.
That when you roll him, when that pitcher comes out there, you're either going to win the ball game or you're going to lose 2-1 or 1-0.
Yeah,
I mean, because they have a good pitcher too.
He is an excellent pitcher, and I can't wait to watch him play again. And we would like to have a schedule of events for Pike Liberal Arts because they'll be playing for a championship again very soon.
They're in the second round playing Clark Prep. It's their next game.
Playing who?
Clark Prep.
Yeah, where do they play that game, Mike?
It's not telling me.
And then my point on baseball is if you can ever get a situation where you have two ace pitchers, you are sitting in the catbird seat, man. I mean, all those Chase Riddle teams that either won the national championship or almost won them, they almost always had two really good pitchers.
Mike, I can't believe you can't help me with this pitcher.
Man, I'm on Instagram on Pike Patriots Baseball, and they're giving me no information. I can't find anything.
Pike Liberal not good doing the job about passing the word on.
It's not Pike Liberal. It's just on this site on Instagram.
Okay.
Pike Patriots Baseball. I mean, I know the score was 12-0, but it's not telling me any of the stats.
All right, so they've got they have the semifinal game coming up this week, and then their final game will be next week. Is that right? A week from
I think you go 3 rounds at least, don't you?
Yeah.
I heard
that this championship game.
I heard that Pike got a bye in the first round of the AISA playoffs.
Did they?
So I don't know how many. That's a good question. I don't know how many rounds they got to circumvent to get to the championship game.
And Mike, it so happens that a young man moves to town, and he's a left-handed pitcher, and he pitches for Pike Lib, and his last name is Rice. Rice.
Yeah, well, he is.
He is
the understudy of these of Jeffcoat and Nelson, so he's learning from all these guys. That's good.
Is he a 9th grader or 10th grader?
10th grader.
10th grader is
Did you mention Charles Henderson lost both of their games to Pike Road, so their season's over.
Of course, it wasn't even close. I think 12-3, and let's see, they put that score in the paper. I read a little bit of it, and
Pike Road is really good, and Charles Henderson will be back.
Got
the score was 12-2 and 14-3. 12-2 and 14-3.
I saw Al Renfro before the T-Day game, and I watched his son. He was kicking it really good in warm-ups. And
well, he kicked.
He hit a 44-yarder.
Yeah, in the game, kicked a 44-yard field goal. And I tell you, he got a pretty good leg, no question about it. I watched him a lot at practice, and he's pretty good, no question about it. Came from Pike Liberal Arts.
Yeah, the starting kicker for Troy's out. Booth, the kid that transferred in from Georgia, had a good year for Troy last year. He's battling an injury, so I guess he'll come back and be the kicker, I guess.
What is his name?
Bruce Booth.
Okay. And you said he's a transfer from the University of Georgia?
Yeah, he was choice kickers last year.
Okay.
Well, Renfro is you could tell in high school that he was the real deal.
Mike, I hate to ask you this on public television. I hope you came back with some money this weekend, or at least didn't lose any money. Is that true?
Well, I had a good time. I mean, I'll say this. Biloxi was a lot better this go-around than when I went in January. There was a lot more people working for the casino, so it was a lot more fun, and the atmosphere was a lot better. We had a good time. I went with two really lucky guys. I know that. They did real well.
Well,
my
that's
two
good.
buddies did real well.
Really good. I'm glad to hear it.
Atlanta Braves were real good to me on Friday night. Their pitcher pitched a shutout, and that was really good.
Yeah, well, that's good.
But it was fun. We went to Mary Mahoney's great French restaurant. Been down there since the 50s. And had a great meal, and went over to the Hard Rock, and then came back. We had a good time. It's a fun little trip. It's weird when you go through. You have to go through Alabama, Florida, Alabama, and Mississippi to get to Biloxi from here. But it was fun.
Hey, I missed it, and I wanted to watch it or keep up with it. How did Tyson Fury do in his fight over in Wembley Stadium?
He dominated it. Won in the 6th round knockout.
Boy,
Who did he knock out?
A British fighter in front of 95,000 people.
Golly. Oh, man.
He says he's going to retire, and he sounds like he's serious, but I hate it because he is so colorful and original. I love listening to him and watching him.
You know, I didn't, they must be crazy about their boxing. I don't know how they could have that kind of people.
This is the best boxer ever from England, this Fury. He's just getting better and better.
Who beat him the last time?
He's never been beat.
Wilder had a draw with him, and then Wilder got beat twice.
Yeah,
He's had one draw in his career. He's 6'9", about 2'7".
So he's still.
He's real articulate and smart, and he's very candid about the things he says.
Yeah.
It's crazy. After his fight, he gets on and sings American Pie. He sings the whole song in front of everybody there.
And he sings good.
Uh-huh.
Not bad.
Yeah. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
Well, that made me. You were talking about your bets. I put one $10 bet that the underdog would win.
Hey, Jim Jackson, Bill Jackson Ford here in Troy, Alabama, where not only can you get the best price on a new Ford, but we can also get you exactly what you're looking for. We all know inventories are low right now, but don't settle for something you don't love. Come by Bill Jackson Ford in Troy, Alabama, and let us walk you through the retail order process and get you exactly what you're looking for. So come see us at Bill Jackson Ford in Troy, Alabama, where you too can experience the Jackson satisfaction.
It's Ford Truck Month. America, you know what to do. Now's the time to get after the best deals on Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks, 45 years straight. Also, great offers on Ford Ranger and the new Ford Maverick. Ford Truck Month is here, so let's get after it. Get 0 for 60 plus up to $1,000 bonus cash plus a no-charge 3-year Ford Protect Premium Maintenance Plan on F-150.
The all-new Troy Regional Women's Diagnostic Center brings all of the latest and advanced 3D mammography and breast ultrasound services to the Troy area in our all-new outpatient facility. Dr. Lauren Thorington, along with our team of certified breast specialists, read your mammograms, which are performed by our registered radiologic technologists, bringing the best in women's health care to the Troy area. Troy Regional Women's Diagnostic Center.
I wish you could taste how much better food tastes when cooked on a Green Mountain grill. But I can let you in on the reason that's true. Our pellets contain water, so they create steam while you cook, keeping your food moist. Does a gas or charcoal grill do that? I think not.
Come and see us at Southern Grill and Patio just off the square in Troy.
Hey, Jim Jackson with Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC right here in Troy, Alabama, and we've got some exciting news for you. After a 2-year suspension, GM has now reintroduced the sold order process on the redesigned GMC Sierra 1500 and Chevrolet Silverado 1500. So come in and order yours today and not have to wait 6 months to get exactly what you want. So come see us at Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Troy, where you too can experience the Jackson satisfaction. Hey, Jim Jackson, Bill Jackson Ford here in Troy, Alabama, where not only can you get the best price on a new Ford, but we can also get you exactly what you're looking for. We all know inventories are low right now, but don't settle for something you don't love. Come by Bill Jackson Ford in Troy, Alabama, and let us walk you through the retail order process and get you exactly what you're looking for. So come see us at Bill Jackson Ford in Troy, Alabama, where you too can experience the Jackson satisfaction.
This show is brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass right here in Troy. And, of course, my good friend Jason Gregory and all those guys. Boy, they've had a couple of great weekends the past two, and look forward to the biggest weekend of his since he's been here on great deals on Dodge, Chryslers, Jeeps, and Ram trucks right here in Troy, and we appreciate them very much. Remember, nobody beats Premier deal. Nobody.
Yeah, the guy that they talked about in the game, Rice, I think was 32, had a good game for Troy named Philip Lee. Plays the Bandit. 6'4", 220 out of Jacksonville, Florida.
Uh-huh.
They had some linebacker number 34 that I saw making several tackles, but I left in the first half. We've been out in the sun all day after the first half, and but in the first half, I was impressed by the defense.
Yeah, they did look good.
And the running backs were running hard, and they were getting 3 or 4 yards. But the passes were. The passing game was.
Looks like 34 is a tight end named Jackson Dillard. So that's 6'2", 240 tight end.
The one that I like was...
I think the guy you're talking about is 32, because they talked about him in the actual article.
How did the kid from the transfer from Stanford do? He's a tight end.
I don't know. Yeah, tight end. Yeah, he was all conference at Stanford.
I know why Billy doesn't call. He had a big write up on Billy.
His name's Michael Vice.
Yeah. What did it say anything about him? His big tight end.
Well, I mean, he's a transfer from Vestavia Hills Hospital, played at Stanford, 6'4", 252.
Yeah, I like him. He looks good. Of course, it's a great article on the coach and his family in the Bill Rice publication.
The Bobby Rice publication.
Bobby Rice, excuse me, Bobby Rice. And
I've written some articles in the Troy Life before.
And it really does show a good picture of John and his daughters Sheila, Sadie, and Sam, and Celie, Sadie, and Stella, and a little boy named Sam, and they're very awfully cute.
I bet some of these legends were really impressed by what's happened to the campus and how all the new buildings and the beautification, like Coach Gailey, it's a completely different college than when he was here.
Yes, exactly right. And of course,
Roger Schultz, his son was number 68, Evans Schultz.
I would have liked to have seen Roger, and I didn't know he was there.
What's his son play?
Number 68, just says offensive lineman.
I wonder if he's a center.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
He played at St. Paul's Hospital.
Yeah. Mike, going to put you on hold.
Good morning. You're on Today in L.A.
Hey, Bill, it's Will Matthews. What are y'all up to?
Hey, Will.
Will Matthews is in there. Mike Amos is also on the line, and we're.
I saw Will had all his kids down at the Yellow House. They have fun at the beach, Will?
Oh, yeah. They loved it.
Their first trip to the Yellow House. Is that right?
No, they've been there numerous times.
Oh, have they? Okay.
The weather down here has been incredible. We were out yesterday on the beach, and it's like 80 every day. Every morning it's like around 63. It's going to be sunny for another 10 days. It hadn't rained down here in forever.
Well, I tell you what, it's been beautiful here too, and Will, I'm glad you were able to enjoy your grandchildren.
Had a good time. I'll tell you something else I enjoyed. Vanderbilt winning the SEC golf in stroke play and match play both.
Wow.
And it's over with now.
Yeah, over with.
So Vanderbilt wins golf, SEC golf championship.
How did Alabama do?
Alabama finished dead last out of 14 teams.
What has happened to the Alabama golf program?
I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like all these guys in the pros would help recruit. We know Hunter Hamrick, local kid from Troy and Montgomery, is on that staff. I don't know what's happened. That's interesting.
Yeah.
He may be hunting a job.
No, that's true.
We are talking about the golf tournament. They play as partners down at the Zurich Classic in New Orleans, and Cantley and Shoffley shot 59 one day, and then I think another day they shot 61. They shot even par yesterday and won it. It counts. It counts as a championship for both of them.
Oh, yeah.
Well, congratulations
which
to them.
Which is good for Shockley because he hadn't won on the tour in at least 3 or 4 years.
I saw Robert Hawkins and his wife at Troy Fest, and Melanie was telling me that Robert's taking up golf again. Later in life.
Yeah.
And he's not real good, he says. And she said, well, he wants somebody to play with that he can. That's also not real good. And I said, well, I can do it.
I'll tell you this, Robert. They're more not so good than they are good. It's still a hard game to play, in my opinion.
Apparently his son, the third generation vet,
yeah, they like to play.
He plays and is probably pretty good, and so maybe the dad wants to play with the son. But I told Melanie, I said, I peaked in golf at about age 14 or 15. It's been downhill ever since.
Mike, I'll tell you this, the linebacker coach at Kentucky evidently really loves Coach Summerall because he came down for the game to watch Coach Summerall's team.
Wow.
That's great.
So that was a real nice gesture. The guy that took his place, Coach Summerall's place, was here for the game.
Yeah, I tell you what, Troy and Kentucky coaches have a lot of relationships over the years. We talked about that with Bradshaw, Neil Brown, and now John Summerall.
Yeah.
A lot of Kentucky connections at Troy.
Excuse me.
Well, Neil Brown, we didn't even talk about this, but Neil Brown picked up J.T. Daniels from Georgia as his quarterback.
Oh, did he really?
Wow.
I bet he plays. I bet he's the one that'll play.
CJ will.
Well, Graham Harold, who was the USC offensive coordinator under Helton, recruited J.T. Daniels at USC, and Graham Harold's now the offensive coordinator at West Virginia.
Okay, now we know the rest of the story.
Well, I missed that. That's a big story. J.T. Daniels can still play if he can just stay healthy.
Also, Alabama got the great wide receiver, the speedster that runs a 4.2 out of Louisville over the weekend. Harold is now on Alabama's roster. So now Alabama's got another starting wide receiver from the portal.
Now, one of them, though, came here and didn't make it. They sent him home, didn't they?
No, who's that?
Well, the wide receiver, is he still there?
No. They had one on their roster that transferred to Texas.
No.
Named Hall.
He was not a player.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he caught a few balls against Georgia in the championship game, and then he also dropped a sure touchdown pass in the championship game.
I think he dropped 2 or 3 in the game. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But now Bryce Young has the top receiver from Georgia, Burton, and now the top receiver out of Louisville, Harold. And they got the new, the starting tackle out of Vanderbilt, Steen, is now on the roster. So Alabama's gotten 5 great players out of the portal.
Oh, so they really didn't have to recruit, did they?
Well, I mean, that's the way it works. They're already saying now they might go get this great tight end out of Utah, too.
It's not fair. It is not fair.
Coach Saban said it when this portal thing was going on. He had a player that went to Georgia, and he said, I don't want my player to go to Georgia, and he was kind of beat up in the press for saying that. But later he said, you be careful what you wish for, because University of Alabama is going to do better in this portal than all these other teams, and that's proven prophetic too.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go play for the Heisman Trophy. The guy that won the Heisman Trophy as a quarterback. I mean, how do you pass that up?
I know it. Yeah, right. You got a quarterback that can hit you right in the hands.
And you're going to be on national TV every single week.
That's right. The primetime game every week. That's true. The pro scouts are going to be at practice every single day.
Yeah.
Alabama. I mean, I imagine the Texas game at Texas is going to be pretty tough. I think Texas will be a lot better. But I mean, I would be shocked if Alabama doesn't play in the SEC championship game against Georgia again.
Yeah. I was looking at Troy.
Michael, you may be shocked.
Go ahead.
Why? You don't think Georgia's going to be in it?
Nope.
What are you like A&M?
I like Tennessee in the East.
Ooh, wow.
Tennessee ball.
Oh.
That's bold. That's bold talk right there.
That's
Georgia loses a lot of people.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to see where's Georgia-Tennessee game this year. I think it's in Athens, Joe.
I'll tell you this, man, that a lot of folks were watching this weekend for Troy was their new offensive line coach. His name was Cole Popovich, offensive line coach at Troy now, and he's got a lot of work to do, and I'm sure he's the one to do it.
He's a distant cousin of Greg Popovich.
The basketball coach?
Yeah, he was on the staff with the New England Patriots the last, 5-6 years. Assistant offensive line coach.
That's right.
So if you're in with the Patriots organization, I would imagine you could coach pretty good.
But I tell you, you can tell that he demands respect, and I like the fire. Of course, a veteran offensive line coach is a very good move by Troy.
They've got a picture of Sheil and Bernadette Wood, who's their defensive coordinator, and it's on Main Street at Disney World. Our family took the exact same picture.
They really, yeah.
Just a month ago.
And of course,
what's going to happen with Disney World? Is DeSantis going to close it down?
I was wondering. That's funny that some people are saying, yeah, Disney ought to take their ball and go home. I said, well, where are they going to go? I mean, they're going to go to Massachusetts, and it'll take them 30 years to recreate what they got in Orlando. I think they're stuck.
Yeah. And of
course, there was an article about how Walt Disney bought all that land down there for nothing, and they did it secretly and got away with it, So they made enough money, I think.
Even Troy.
Also, interesting basketball news here, right? Siobhan Quinterly, who was Alabama's point guard last year, blew out his knee against Notre Dame in the NCAA tournament, is going to come back and play his senior season. So Alabama's got a returning guy that averaged 14 points a game.
That is very good.
Of course, he's coming off an ACL injury. So that's going to be interesting news there. And also, UAB, Dad, is about to open a new women's basketball facility for $9 million at UAB.
Wow.
So they've got their own facility now.
Well, I mean, they already had Bartow Arena, but now they got their own basketball facility as well.
So is it going to be used for practice, or will it be used for the game too?
Practice for the men's and women's basketball team. But that's a lot of money for a basketball facility.
Sure is. That shows their commitment, doesn't it? Of course, a good article on Troy Life. It talks about all the assistant coaches and their wives or girlfriends, but mostly their wives. And your guy Evan McKissick lives next door to your father-in-law. Is that right?
Well, the tight ends coach is who I thought it was, but yeah, there's a coach.
That's it, Evan McKissick.
Yeah, he played at Troy. He was a great player at Troy.
Who Evan was?
Frank and Liz are enjoying living next door to him.
He's from Hoover High School, and was a starting center for Troy. Weighed about 260 pounds.
Oh, is that who that is?
Yeah, he was the guy that was Slarman when went to coach with Slarman at Kentucky.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, I'm hearing good things about all the coaches and the changes they've made and the culture, and they're reaching out to the community, and I got a good feeling about what Coach Summerall and his staff are going to build.
Yeah. I tell you what, a good-looking staff, and you know they've also signed up two analysts. One of them on defensive side, and another one is on the special team side.
And I will tell you, y'all have traveled a lot more than me, literally. Who has a better stadium and venue than Troy does? Mike, anybody in the Sun Belt?
No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
In the Sun Belt, yeah, Troy's definitely got one of the best facilities in the Sun Belt.
No question about it.
I mean, and then the backdrop and the scenery with the hills and the layout, it's just second to none.
I mean, Appalachia State has a great facility. Marshall has a 40,000 seat stadium. That will add a lot. I would say Troy Stadium is nicer than Southern Miss's. I have no clue about James Madison Stadium or Old Dominion Stadium.
It's better than Lafayette for sure.
Yeah.
I know Texas State's got a brand new stadium. They say it's pretty nice. Arkansas State Stadium's nice.
Does Georgia State have a new stadium?
Well, no, they play in the old Turner Field. They converted Turner Field into a football stadium.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Want to mention my good friends
Billy and Laura
on the front page. Billy and the family. There's a good article on this in this excellent publication of Troy Life, and anytime Billy Hickson shows up, he's got a beautiful wife to show up with him, and it's a real good article. Bill and Laura.
Good pictures too.
Yes, and I knew Bill's parents very well, and they just come from a wonderful, wonderful family. He continues the heritage that his grandfather and his father and you know, before him. So it's really a great article.
I was reading an article, NFL draft this week, and out of Mobile, Baldwin County, they're expecting at least 7 guys to be drafted in the 2022 NFL draft. And all of them played at different schools. Galen Armour-Davis played at Alabama and went to St. Paul's. Trey Berry, tight end, Boston College, went to Spanish Fort. Neil Farrell, defensive tackle, played at LSU, went to Murphy. Cordell Flott, cornerback, LSU, played at Saraland. Belias Jones, wide receiver, kick return, Tennessee, Saraland. Roger McCrary, cornerback, Auburn, played at Williamson. And then Jalen Tolbert, wide receiver at South Alabama, played at McGill too, and they're saying Tolbert out of South Alabama might sneak up to the second round. But all these guys played at Mobile High School. They just tell you the talent down in Mobile.
Yeah, no question. That's very good. Yeah, I was showing this picture again of Billy and Laura Hickson at the farm, and of course, you know, they've got a beautiful farm operation, and like we talked about earlier. You know, it's so much tradition built around his family over the years, you know, and of course a great legacy they have been a part of.
Billy and Laura were high school sweethearts, if I remember correctly. So
his granddad was John Delmer Hickson, and he settled on the land, and he owned and operated a little country store at one time that became and remained for his lifetime the hub on the community. So, and Bill Hickson followed in the farmer football steps of his grandfathers, and you know, his daddy played for Troy University or Troy State Teachers College a long time ago, and it's just a solid family that the Hicksons from what would you call that area of Pike County?
Banks, right?
The bank, well, you can call it Banks, but
Mike, what has happened to Troy's golf program? They're terrible.
Well, I didn't know. What did they do?
They came in last in the Sun Belt.
Oh boy, and all those new facilities and all that, too.
Well, they could give them time.
Yeah, I'm sure that they're going
to bring them I think the girls' program's been pretty good, though.
Yeah.
They were just a year or so ago. They were good. So I guess in golf, if you lose one or two key players, you're in trouble, as you know, Will.
And
how many plays? They only score 4 in the tournament, right? So if you
they take 4 out of 5 plays, 4 scores count.
But if you got 2 good players, you're going to be up there. Then those 2 players graduate or transfer, you're in trouble.
I tell you,
that's terrible. Little Rock won it.
Well, I'm saying that is one of my
Georgia Southern was second.
One of my children's teachers is married to the golf coach.
Yeah, now I know Matt Terry's doing great at Louisiana Tech.
He is. How do we know that?
He's got a great. I keep up with him. He's got a great team out there. They're playing their conference tournament this week.
Yeah.
Well, how is Alabama and Auburn softball doing in baseball, Michael? Have you been keeping up with them?
Alabama softball is like, what are they, number 2 in the country?
I don't know.
They're up there.
I hadn't really kept up with much of it. I would watch the World Series. I always enjoy that.
Should Alabama and Auburn make the NCAA field?
They hadn't even started yet.
They haven't had the SEC tournament yet.
Yeah, it's amazing they've kept the SEC tournament at Hoover when they have Regents Park downtown Birmingham.
Yeah.
Alabama softball is 39-8.
That's pretty good.
How are they in the SEC? What's their record?
Conference is 14-7. That tells you how good the SEC is.
I want to talk to Will about something here. This publication, Troy Life, talks. It says a stroll down Troy architectural path, and it says the Carroll residence. The Carroll residence, originally the home of Mr. and Mrs. J.S. Carroll, his prairie style of a house may be one of the most recognizable Troy today, known by many titles over the century. That's been standing proud over the city of Troy, the Delta Chi fraternity, as it's currently referred to. But is this your folk?
No relation.
Okay, I was wondering about that, but we know that there's another Carroll family that presided.
I love that picture. That is the Delta Chi alumni house now, but you can see what a beautiful home it was when it was the Carroll home.
Yeah. And then but it showed some of these old houses. The Bashinsky house, of course, many folks are familiar with that. That was built in 1902 by Leopold Bashinsky. And
now owned by Brian Saunders.
And previously owned by the family that started Golden Flake potato chips in Birmingham. Did you know that, Will?
Did not.
Well, the Bashinskys, her grandson was named Major Bashinsky, and he started Golden Flake potato chips in Birmingham. I believe I'm right by saying that.
There's also somebody that
started. Her grandson.
There's a connection with Liberty National Life Insurance, or of somebody that lived on College Street, and then the governor of the state of Alabama, a guy named Charles Henderson. This is all kind of famous and rich people, families. Bubba Trotman, Emery Falmer, all came from College Street. And Chan Gailey lived on College Street.
Yeah, but
I guess we'll talk about the SEC baseball standings. Tennessee. I don't know if we've even talked about how great they are in baseball. They're 17-1 in conference. Their only loss is Alabama. They're 37-3. When's the last time you heard of a baseball team being that good?
That is really something. No question about it.
That's true.
37-3. Georgia's 28-12. They're second in the East. Vanderbilt's 9-9, 28-11 overall. Florida's 23-17, 6-12 overall. So they're not having a great year. The West, Arkansas's 12-6, 31-9. Auburn's really had a good year. Auburn's 11-7, 29-12 overall. Alabama's 9-9, 24-17 overall. Mississippi State, who won the national championship last year, is really down. They're 8-10 in conference, 24-17 overall. So it'll be interesting to see. I think they only let 10 teams go play in the SEC tournament in Hoover.
Mike, I'm not sure, but does Troy play Auburn this week or next week?
In baseball?
In baseball, yeah, at home here in Troy.
Wow.
Let's see. I think Troy plays Georgia Tech this week too in baseball.
Troy versus Auburn in Troy.
And I normally have that schedule somewhere.
A good Auburn team. We aren't talking about them enough,
Yeah.
I guess. And that's where Drew Nelson's going to be playing next year.
That's right.
Well, Drew Nelson's going to be playing there if he doesn't get drafted. He might get drafted.
Well, he will get drafted, but it's a question of whether he wants to take the money or
I've got a
develop
feeling
his- I think he's going to go to Auburn. I think he's a big Auburn fan anyway.
Yeah, I think he's going to go to Auburn. But unless they give him a ton of money.
Unless he's a first-round pick or second-round pick, then
Troy plays at Georgia Tech tomorrow night at 5 p.m.
Okay, and when do they play Auburn? Do you know?
They play Auburn in a couple of weeks. May 10th, they play Auburn.
May the 10th in Troy.
Tuesday night, yeah.
Okay, that's going to be so. That'll be
mark
Tuesday
that on
week.
your calendar, May 10th.
And then they
And
travel.
And then the next week they play UAB in Troy on the 17th. You know, Casey Dunn's done a really good job with UAB this year after he left Sanford.
What's their record so far?
I don't know. I know they swept Alabama in baseball this year. Though. I read an article about that the other day.
Did you say they go
your favorite journalist Joseph Goodman Rice is demanding that UAB and Alabama play each other in basketball.
I don't read my favorite journals anymore.
For years.
Yeah. Now,
I don't have a problem playing each other basketball. They could play the game at the new Legacy Arena downtown. You know, Alabama comes over and plays a game at Birmingham every year. They played Davidson this year, got beat. So that would be a sure sellout for sure.
let me ask this, Mike: do they play Georgia Tech in Troy or in Atlanta?
In Atlanta.
Okay.
You know, the famous Varsity, the most overrated place ever.
Yeah, oh yeah, I agree.
According to you.
I believe it is too. I don't think their hot dogs are near as good as the hot dogs you get at Bird Drugs.
That's where Sam Drake, the aforementioned Sam Drake, went to college and pitched for Georgia Tech.
I can remember when Sam Drake was being recruited, and Georgia Tech had a coach named Turtle Thomas. They call him Turtle Thomas, well-known coach. And he, after he signed, listen to this, after he signed Sam, Turtle left and went to be the head coach at Miami.
Is that right?
But that's he stayed at Tech for 4 years.
Bobby says that Bobby's real tight with Sam to this day, and Sam says that looking back, he had a good career at Georgia Tech, and he went and pitched in the minor leagues for about 2 years, I think. But he said, here's what he said. He said, I never had an off-speed pitch or a really good enough curveball or changeup.
The changeup would have been great.
He had the velocity, but you got to have more than that.
That's right. I tell you what, if you wanted to see a picturesque pitcher, a pitcher that looked like a pitcher, you looked at Sam Drake. He was polished. He was a polished pitcher.
Well, he had the big legs and lower body, and he wasn't.
I didn't realize he was so short. I always thought he was like 6'3", 6'4". Didn't you say he was only 5'11"?
No.
He's probably 6 feet. Six, at least 6 feet, 6'1".
Yeah.
But he was thick and heavy, and he was as a freshman. I remember he was a Dixie Boys sensation before he got to high school, but I thought, oh, there's no way he's going to be good when he's got, for one thing, the mound goes back further. It goes back to 60 feet.
I wonder if
but he was.
Yeah. I wonder if Billy gonna have this framed.
This is great.
Wouldn't you think that's a good picture?
Look how pretty the land is.
Right. You're right.
You know, I was thinking of Troy's baseball schedule. They still have like 16 games left, and that's not even counting the conference tournament.
That is
they
a
can play
bunch.
20 more games.
Yeah, that's a bunch. I hope they get on a streak.
Well, I'm going to finish my Sam Drake memorable story. Well, Sam gets to Charles Henderson as a ninth grader, and he's quickly the #1 pitcher as a ninth grader, which almost never happens. I don't remember it since. Even Brian Meadows probably wasn't the #1 pitcher as a ninth grader. Maybe he was. Well, Charles Henderson, my senior year, all my buddies, we make it to the finals of the state playoffs, and Sam Drake's pitching in the best 2 out of 3 series. I think it's the first pitch of the game. Bing, against Litchfield or somebody, home run. I said, oh my God, these guys are good. You know what? That's the only run of the game. Charles Henderson loses one. Sam, I mean, what else can you do? I mean, we just couldn't score any runs against their pitcher. And then we lose that series 2-1 when we have the tying run on third base and Kyle Ingalls at the plate, and he barely gets beat out on the dribbler by about that much. That's just, sports can be a heartbreaker, Mike.
Yeah, no question about it. Want to mention the golf this past weekend, Mike. I just can't get into this 4-ball stuff. But I bet Cantley and what is his name, Schaffel.
Shoffley.
All they did was they split $1.2 million, $1,200,000. They split it.
No, they got more than that.
That's what I just read it. It says the 1,200,000 is what they split.
They got that a piece.
All right. Well, if that's the case, it just doesn't show it as being split. Again.
That's what one of them got.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Well, they're millionaires.
See, they don't mention them splitting.
Well, they didn't get that anyway.
$1.2 million.
The government took 40% off the top. And then
It's the points they're trying to get more. FedEx, comp and stuff like that. They're trying to get a lot of points too. I don't know how they split that. 250.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you've enjoyed our show today. We appreciate you calling in. Look forward to hearing from you. And, of course, we hope that you have had a great weekend and everything was great as far as the Troy Fest. And
thank all the volunteers who put that on for us.
And
thanks, everybody, for going.
Exciting moments out of the T-Day game. Hope you had a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow bright and early for Today in L.A.
It's easy. 29 down and drive. That's 29 down, and you drive today. Premier will double your tax refund on